All right, welcome back, hockey fans, to Circle of Jerks, your favorite podcast to listen to while trying to do work. The pub is currently mixing a drink. Wait, what? I have no idea. I don't know where I was going with that one, but I am Pete R. Next to me is Jeremy Boner. I got Cannonball Kurt, and two guests here this evening. We have the international correspondent, Mike Verlano, and Alex Packard from Packard Motor Company. Congratulations for being here, guys. How does it feel? You guys have been listening to the podcast, and now you are here as guests. What do you think?
Well, I feel like Bob's in Toronto right now, so I'm obligated to be here.
Handing over Bob to Canada, and of course we get a great Canada correspondent. And Packard, what is it like to be here?
My knee feels really uncomfortable right now, and I hope it's just the table.
Well, today is National Beer Drinking Holiday or something like that, and this hour is brought to you by Hoppy Hour Hero. It's a delicious IPA if anyone is out there looking for a delicious beer. So get there. Now, last night we had a lot of missing players this week, some tight games. Majority of our selectors were able to get 3 out of 4 games correct. We may finally be seeing some favorites in the standings. So with that being said, let's get to the 6:30 game. Raging Bonet.
6:30, we have the Sugar Hill Gang in white, scoring 8 goals. Losing to NWA in a garnet, I think, is what I would call that color. With
a garnet?
15.
Garnet,
sorry. So on the Sugar Hill side, Jeremy Raging Cajun Bonet. 1 goal, 0 assists. Kevin Baldwin, 3 goals, 0 assists, and a game star. Kevin Parker, 2 goals, 0 assists. Dave King, 2 goals, 0 assists. Gianni, not there. Steve Schultz, 38 saves, 72% save percentage. On the flip side, NWA, Mike Sturgis, 5 goals, an assist, and a game star. Jamie Habit's mouthful of letters. 1 goal, 1 assist. Mike Bryant, 6 goals, 5 assists, second game star of that team. Dave Foss, 1-0. Steve Newberry, 2 goals, 0 assists. Ryan Conko, 31 saves, 79% save percentage.
31 saves. I mean, once again, we go back to the point, and NWA had a tough week last week without Mike Ryan in the lineup, and then this week they get to play a team without their number 1 in the lineup. And Jeremy, you and I were talking about it during the week. Bryant, should he have bowed out this game simply because he's a nice guy?
I feel like that would be the nice thing to do in the for sportsmanship reasons. He should have sat out when the other team's down there number 1. You don't want to kick a man when they're down, and of course we're kidding.
They did. I mean, that's really what it came down to. This wasn't. It's no contest. Is there any team in the league, if they miss out on their number 1, that can play and compete? Do you guys know of any other team? I mean, I see the Roots because we do have the Bull, but when you're missing your number 1 guy, what are you going to be able to do against another team?
Maybe Wu-Tang?
I would say if there was a team, I would have to go with Run DMC on that one, just because they have so many other guys that seem to be putting up not equal, but close to the same amount of points that Zach do every week.
Yeah, you definitely have some great lineups across the league, but I mean, this game really it wasn't a contest. I'm sorry, Monet. It was tough. You're looking at 53 shots for NWA, 39 for Sugar Hill Gang, so a complete lopsided affair. Jeremy, you did have one. It was up there for a play of the week for me. It was great to see kind of Mighty Duck action. I don't know if you guys saw it, but takes a whack right from half court, knuckle puck right into the net. Conko couldn't even see it, but goalies had a tough night. 72%, 79%. I mean, what do you guys think? What was the reason that the goalies were just so awful last night for the first game?
I mean, I find Steve he's new to the league, and
sure.
He's letting in some goals that I guess more experienced goalies wouldn't let in, at least at the outset. And there is a learning curve, right? I mean, Ramsey wasn't the greatest for the first few games, and I know Alex, we played together. And it's hard to get that kind of positioning where you're in position for that puck that comes, at you 100 miles an hour, or those little floppy shots you get.
Yeah, 100 miles per hour. I think we are having in the All-Star game we are having a fastest shot competition, correct?
Yes.
I think some of the goal. I mean, I think like Conko, I think is suffering from sympathetic rookie syndrome. I think he's kind of, regressing a little bit. I know they're looking for a cure, but and he had it in his last game that he subbed in. Got a little reversal working there.
Yeah, he's done that a couple times this year already, where he's actually played better in his sub game than he has in his regular game. I mean, he's had some awful games this year, but still, I don't think he needed to be great tonight because he only saw 39 shots.
Yeah, he didn't seem to be getting tested as much as he has been in other games for sure.
But you put here's the thing. No Gianni. You put Gianni in this game, and it's a difference maker. I don't know if you guys were able. Do you think you would be able to pull out the win with Gianni? Of course, you're gonna say yes, right?
Just to make Gianni feel bad for missing the game a little bit more, I would say yes, that we would have won if he was there.
He would have had 8 goals.
The issue is,
I'm surprised he didn't have a goal last night. I mean, he does score from really far away a lot. I don't know where he was last night, but
looking at Conco's save percentage and him putting up a 79%, I felt like we had some quality chances he stopped, and I was actually shocked looking at his save percentage because there was a lot of pucks that got fed right in front of him when I thought we had good chances to put in, and he made those stops. But putting up those kind of numbers against a scorer like Gianni, definitely would have gave us a puncher's chance in that game, especially keeping the rest of the team fresh with that extra sub.
And you look at NWO, the biggest thing for them is that their scorer stepped up. Bryant obviously had the biggest night of the week, 6 goals, 5 assists. Even without their leading scorer, that's a huge night regardless. And then Sturgis came back, at finally having a big game this year, 5 goals and 1 assist. So that's exciting for them. Sturgis hasn't really been there, but you're still looking at Steve Newberry, Jamie Haverstr, Dave Foes, all scoring. Everyone on the team is having goals. This team is really rising to the occasion when they get an opportunity.
I'm kind of surprised at how quiet it was for Kevin Baldwin and Dave King, to be honest with you. What do you
5
think
of their
it was?
18 goals though.
5, 8, not 18.
What?
5 of
Oh,
their,
I'm sorry, not
did I say
Kevin.
18?
I'm sorry, I had this thing reversed. I was looking at that as his assist. I'm
Did you
sorry.
say 8 or
But
18?
still, to that point, Dave,
No, I said 8.
I would think, man, Gianni's not there. Start circling the wagons, man, and get Dave to step up a little more.
Have you seen our team? Nobody circles the wagon.
Chasing your own tail more like
I did think Kevin really played well last night though, because he was getting back to his ways of the past 2 seasons where he was sliding on the floor, he was blocking a lot of shots, he had a stick in the way. So defensively he was there, puts up 3 goals. It's so difficult to have assists that night, and especially with you not taking the stats. So I thought you had at least 15 assists on your goals. So
yeah, that's my bad. I really did not want to do the stats. When I walked in the door, it was, oh, Alex, you're doing stats now because we need a stats guy.
Yep.
And I asked
Congratulations.
Peter to do it, and he wouldn't do it.
No.
So
no, I can't stretch into.
It is tough paying attention to the game the entire time.
I know,
You have to
no,
pay
it
closer
really
attention
is.
than any of the players, really.
No, and this is really a testament to how great Jeremy
Yes.
Bonet is. This guy
that's
can,
off.
Slow clap.
he can look at the court and keep stats and touch clock buttons. I don't know.
I'll let you guys in on a little secret of keeping stats is that if I didn't see it, it didn't happen.
And if you rub them the wrong way or you're cross with them, you're not getting your assists.
Who was it? Actually, someone came over last night and was like, I didn't get an assist. And he goes, or no, someone has just like, oh, all right, 3 assists. And he goes, not anymore. So, it was a tough loss last night. Sugar Hill is 0-5 right now. We've talked about it weeks prior. With Gianni in the lineup, it's going to be a different game. But is your team going to be able to turn it around?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
The same thing that we've been doing. Obviously it's been working. So realistically, as a team, I don't feel that we played bad. I feel like we had good things that we've done in that game, and
Scored 8 goals.
but we basically got shot in the foot before the game started, being down a guy. So
Yeah, and when you get 8 goals from your 4 other players, it's going to get you places. So, that's a 6:30 game. Do you guys have any other thoughts on it? Any other breaking points? It's a pretty big blowout, but
Yeah, I found that we're kind of overlooking. NWA played really good defense. They intercepted so many pucks. Sugar Hill was down in their zone, trying to pass in front of the net, and Mike Sturgis was there, Mike Bryan was there to just put their stick in the way, turn the puck over, and then they go and score a goal. You have Johnny there. I think it would be a lot closer. Though I think we have to give our respect to NWA's defense in this game.
Now, can you say that NWA's defense was really stepping up with 8 goals on the night on only 39 shots on goal?
I mean, I think Sugar got a lot more opportunity that we're not kind of seeing on the stat sheet. But I was repping the game, and I saw a lot of defense on NWA's part that kind of goes unnoticed here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I did think their defense played well. I thought Conco just had a bad night, but 39 shots, that's obviously not going to do it in our league. There are games that in the 120 plus range combined, so they're going to need to step it up. NWA is showing that they're still a beast when they're at full strength, so we'll see how it goes for the rest of the season. And let's head to the 7:30 game.
7:30, we had the Furious 5, 13 goals, taking the Roots, who scored 10. On the Furious 5 side, we have Paul Paradine, 7 goals, 2 assists, and a star. Brad Burr blanked. Gaffey, 5 goals, 0 assists, the second game star. Jesse 1-1. And I'm not sure who their 5th player is.
Pete wasn't there.
Pete Skidmore.
Pete Skidmore, that's who it is, yeah. Sorry, it's not on the paper because he wasn't there. Also blanked because he didn't show up. Tim.
It's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. He's got to step up his game.
Yeah. Tim Scott, 52 saves, 84%. On the Roots side, 10 goals, as I said before. Austin, 1 goal, 0 assist. Pete R, 7 goals, an assist, and a game star. Dang, 2 goals, 1 assist.
That's your initials on here.
Ian Smith,
AMG.
nothing but a penalty minute. And Kenton, 54 saves, 81% save percentage.
And no Andy.
Yeah, he also did not score during that game.
Yeah, he was really disappointed. As soon as I heard that Gaffey was back, I actually sent a message to Andy and said, "It's your turn. You coming back?" And he said no. Apparently he's on some beach somewhere picking up sand dollars. I don't know what he's doing with them, but he's not scoring goals, and that's really unfortunate. Now, the one thing I love about this league is that you can score from anywhere. I mean, anyone can take a shot from anywhere, and you can pretty much score. Now, with that being said, I freaking hate that you can score from anywhere, because that's exactly what happened in the game last night. We had our chances, but Furious 5 just kept taking shots. I mean, this was the game that I was just talking about, where you had 62 shots from the Roots, 67 from Furious 5, excuse me. And it was... Furious 5 really, to me, had the game in its hands for most of the time, and it came down to the final 5 minutes. It got really exciting. They're up 11-7. Furious 5 was pretty much running away with it. We ended up getting 3 quick goals, brought the game to 11-10, under 10 minutes to play, and John could see there was a lot of energy going, and John was reffing the game. This was the one time they actually reffed a correct game, I'm going to say. But so he's looking at the floor. He could see the intenseness between all of the players, and he said to everyone before face-off, "Hey guys, if anyone does anything stupid, I'm going to call you on a penalty." So shots rained down for the next minute and a half, and you're getting down to under 2 minutes of play, down to 1:28. Jesse goes down to the offensive end. Ian's chasing him, runs into him, crashes down. They both fall to the floor, and of course a penalty is called on Ian. To me, that was obviously the difference maker of the game, because they can run out the clock for the rest of the time. They score a power play goal, take the game 13-10. Gaffey was a big difference maker last night, but one of the things about penalties that's really tough, and obviously playing with Ian on my team, he's kind of known for his penalties. He's known for his penalties, so every small thing kind of gets penalized. I mean, is it always fair to be looking at a player that every small thing he does, he's going to get a penalty for?
No, it's not.
Why?
But speaking from
I feel
experience.
that happen a lot. This is Cannonball Kurt, by the way, in case you couldn't tell.
I don't think it's really a small thing, though, when the guy jumps in the air and cannonballs into somebody's back, which is exactly what I
saw.
Sorry. Curls up into a ball resembling a cannonball and throwing himself into a guy's back, which is what I saw from
You
the
were
top.
quite animated. I was standing next to you when that happened,
Yeah.
and you had some choice words.
I did, and I'm not trying to make enemies. It's just that it's like there's just no room for that, especially in the final minute of a very close game. You need to really watch what you're doing, because everything that you do affects how your team is gonna progress. And you guys needed a goal right there and not a penalty, and you just got to be smart in those situations.
But I mean, a lot of times you're talking. Ian's a big fellow. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing with you, Cannonball. I mean, there are times where you're running, you can't stop. You can't stop, and if you're going up against a guy like Jesse, he's going to fall over, no matter if you're stopping or anything like that.
Yeah, just from the pressure wave I built in front of
Right,
him. Knocked
exactly.
somebody
So,
over.
I mean, I can understand the call. To me, they both went down. It's such a tight game. I was upset with the call. I can understand the call being placed, but I mean, Kurt, you've been on both sides of the call.
I've seen, a lot of times when it happens, I don't know, you got the guy who gets the foul, pulling a Peter Griffin out there and just it's a give and take. Like, Alex, to your point, Ian was in disbelief that he got the foul. I'm with you on that. It's like, well,
I think he's always in disbelief.
Yeah, you kind of are, because that's the thing, though, that to what you're saying. It's not like you're trying to do it. You're in the heat of the moment. Some guys in the heat of the moment turn on their extra stick handling skills and score amazing goals, a la Joe Gant. Some of us pour on the extra steam and develop a little more momentum. It's so one of them was a foulable offense. That's the difference, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very aggressive game. It was a lot of fun. Gaffey was obviously the difference maker. On our side of things, we can't let a third person score 5 goals. I mean, plain and simple. That was really their big difference maker. Paul was sick, and he still lights it up with 9 goals. I mean,
Paul had an
7
amazing performance for how.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, 7 goals, 2 assists, so 9 points altogether. It was a good game to me. How's Furious 5, 2 wins in a row? I mean, what do you guys think about these guys? Do you think they turn it around? Are they going to get back to last year's ways?
I mean, it really depends on Paul. Paul has a good game, they win. If Paul doesn't have a good game, they lose.
But what's a good game? I guess it just depends on their opponent.
I mean, I played with Paul twice. I find if he's got a shot on for the night and if he's scoring goals off the freeze, they're going to win. But if he's struggling or somebody's blocking those shots, it's a whole different ballgame.
See, the difference maker for me is Gaffey. I didn't know going into watching this game, I didn't know Gaffey was coming. And so I thought this was going to be a pretty lopsided game as far as the Roots besting Furious 5. And Gaffey showed up, and I was kind of just was going to wait and see what happened with him because I didn't know how well he was going to mesh with these guys. But he scored 5 goals on top of Paul's 7 goals, and Gaffey just seemed to. It seemed like at first he wasn't really meshing well with everybody else's play, just because he didn't really know, where to go, where he should be going, and everything. But once he picked it up, he was unstoppable. I mean, he scored. He was pissing people off, which is exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Grabbing my stick.
There was a point when he was. You call him the gnat. He looked more like a very large mosquito. On your feet. No, the thing with Gaffey though. He is a true veteran in this league. I mean, he's been in it since its inception. He knows how, like I was saying to him after the game, he did not let any moss grow on him while he was out.
Yeah.
You would never know he hadn't been playing with a team all along. And the fact that he can come right in and step in and deliver those 5 goals that's what he can. That's a scary thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming into this game knowing that we needed 12 from Austin and I mean, especially with Paul. I needed to match Paul, and we just needed a step up from the rest. So when you're looking at Austin,
that's what I was going to ask you. Why do you think Austin was so quiet?
Honestly, it was Tim. I really think that Tim had his number. Tim is really good at. He really is. This is the first time I played against him, and he positions himself definitely better than anyone else. Bob said that last week, and he positions himself so well. And I think Austin just wasn't ready for it because he likes to shoot top corner of the net, where for Tim, you need to shoot low on him because he's not as great side to side. But this guy just blocks the net so well because he has such strong pads. But I really think Tim was such a big difference maker last night. I was on the fence about giving him a game start. Now, you didn't give him a game start, Jeremy. What was the reason there?
Just going back to, I think I've said it in a past podcast that if you're a goalie and you want a game start, you're going to have to get at least high 80s, maybe even the 90s for me to consider it. Mm-hmm. It's a scoring league. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Tim. I feel like he played
No, you said that he sucked.
Yeah.
He did score a goal.
Yeah. And the person was turning the net, right?
On Kennedy scored a goal.
There's been a couple times where
it was on my team.
There was a point last night where
is there anything good that happens on your team, dude?
Tim Scott actually shot the puck last night, and it got to Kenton, and I could see the worry in Kenton's eyes for about half a second. Like, is he going to score on me again? And he didn't. But
that is kind of cool. I do enjoy seeing Furious 5 utilize Tim off the freeze. I think
it's unique.
It's unique, and it changed. All of a sudden, they've got 3 guys down on the O zone, and it's kind of not many goalies do that.
Yeah.
Maybe once a game they might do something like that, and it's only because all the players are already down there.
Right, yeah.
So that was neat to see. And he's actually got a shot off of it.
Yeah, I mean, so now we have Gaffey back in the lineup, and he may be missing next week, but I mean, this team really looks like they're about to turn it around. I mean, they had a great night. Gaffey obviously had a great night, and if he doesn't have a great night, they might not have won this game. But that's really what needs to happen. Jesse hasn't really lit the lamp a lot this year, but this team is scary. I mean, this team is scary. Obviously, you're always going to be scared of a team that has Paul, but Tim's starting to step it up. If he can be in the mid 80% range, this team has a chance to win every single week.
I think if Jesse can figure it out,
Wait,
pot
what?
I think if Jesse can figure it out and pot
figure it
a
out.
few more goals, this team, may be the favorite. You got Paul, you got Gaffey as a workhorse, and if you got Jesse with his hands, he can pot a few more. I think these guys can be really, really good.
I thought I heard in the rumor mill that Paul's out week 1 of playoffs, though.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, he is.
That's right. That's a rumor mill going around. So
Well,
we'll
he has
see
to
what
work
comes
at that,
up.
and he has to attend. That's where the rumor is.
Hi,
I'm
Will.
going to say back to what you're saying, though, Mike. I agree with what you're saying. I still haven't seen any chemistry really between Jesse and Paul. Go down the team though. Roots. They've hardly had Andy there. When Andy's there, he's a huge difference. They're a scary team already. You get Andy in the mix. I don't know. I kind of see like unlimited potential almost.
Yeah, I mean we're doing an awful job blocking the long shot. I mean that's the most frustrating part for me is when we lose a game because we let so many goals in on the long shot and we're playing great defense down below and then somehow the puck goes into the back of the net. And that's what happened last night. I mean I was throwing my stick around all last night. John was threatening me for a penalty and I just didn't care because I was just so frustrated. And I mean, when we get to the next game, we'll talk about another player who seemed just as frustrated. But that's what this year is. This year is the year of frustration because every team can compete against you. You are not going to win easy games. If everyone's full strength, you're going to be playing your full hearts out. And, I mean, ultimately, it's going to be tough. Kenton saving 81%, we should be able to score enough goals, and we just didn't last night. And Furious 5 is starting to make a run, 2 wins in a row. Roots get their first loss after a 3-game win streak. We'll see how both teams fare out for the rest of the season. So, on to the 8:30 matchup.
8:30.
Pretty good.
So we have Run DMC
Love to see this.
falling with 7 goals to the Tribe, finished with 12. On the Run side, we had Zach Davis, 2 goals, 3 assists. Brian D'Angelo, 2-0. JJ, 0 goals, 1 assist. Rob Maston, 2 goals, 0 assists. Chris Master Splinter, 1 goal, 0 assists. John Ramsey, 50 saves, 81% save percentage. On the Tribe side, Mike Furlano, 4 goals, assist, and a game star. Jeff Burge, 5-1, second game star. Pat C, 1 goal, 1 assist. John Strachan, 1 goal, 3 assists.
Who's John Strachan?
Kurt Brownell, 1 goal, 0 assist. Brett Siebert, 50 saves, 88% save percentage, 1 assist, and a game star.
Oh, I got an assist last
got a
night.
game star.
Woo!
Did he
Wow,
actually
Brett.
get an
He
assist?
did have an assist, yeah.
Wow, I missed that one. Who was the assist on? A goal score.
He
Okay.
sent it down, and I believe it may
It was in the second.
rebounded or something,
Yeah.
and then
So it might have been
when
Furlano.
you guys scooped it up because I was on the bench and saw him send it down.
Hey, well,
Oh,
way to help out your goaltender there.
thank you.
Here's the thing. I feel I don't know what more to say about Run DMC. I started looking at the strength of schedule of every team, and Run DMC has literally had the hardest schedule to start the year. I mean, they have their opponents have a 72% winning percentage. The next closest is at 60%. So they're playing very difficult teams. They have 1 win on. You know, they've had these fluke instances where they only have 3 guys in the lineup, and then Zach has a flu, and then they have a full team, and they're going up ATCQ, who's 3-1 on the season. I mean, to me, I thought you guys played great last night. Jeff was insane. This is a guy who is so nice, and there were so many times after he scored a goal while Zach was defending him, he's pointing at the net. This guy was on a mission last night to score goals, get the win, and then Brett was frustrating the hell out of both Zach and Who's the other guy that I always forget?
D'Angelo?
Thank you, Brian D'Angelo, because he always finds a way to score, and I just don't know that he's there. But you guys played great last night. What is the reason that Brett is doing so well last night? Do you guys help him out on defense, or is this guy just that good this year? He's leading the league in save percentage.
I think he's just that good. I mean, he's got great positioning, and he's not going to be as flashy of a goalie as Conco is because he's in such good position. Right? And when you're in good position, you're not out of position, you're not making those diving saves, you're just there. And I know that frustrates everybody because you look for a shot and you got no open net. You can't see anything.
Yeah, he's having a great year. 88%. He got a game star for me, and he got an official game star as well. Zach, there were so many times where he felt like he had a goal and just nothing was coming to him.
Yeah, Brett's he doesn't get shaken real easily, and he's cool under pressure, and I think it helps too when you're up. I was saying there's a whole different mentality when you're up a few points. I think it lets you play a lot more natural and a lot less. Emotional.
Yeah, and I was speaking of my game where I was really frustrated. I cannot remember the last time I've seen Zach so frustrated. Threw his hat to the ground. There were so many times where he was looking up to the sky and saying, what is going on? What am I not doing? What is my team not doing? I don't think he has an understanding of what it is. Do you guys have an understanding of why Run DMC has lost 4 straight?
Run DMC doesn't have an understanding. They were literally, I'm not being facetious. We were sitting out after the game, and they all walked out and said, what's happening? They don't understand. I don't know. It's all the things are there. I have a theory, a minor theory. I just think that a lot of it stems on Brian D'Angelo. I think Brian's known for a certain style of scoring, and I think a lot of teams have his number on that now. Now, granted, he was moving around. He was moving around a lot in this game, but he is known for that. Right on the crease. Bubble hockey, boom, right in, smooth every time.
Bubble hockey.
Well, we shut that down last night because we had.
That might have been.
If we can cut away his 5 or 6 goals, we're gonna come out in the positive.
Yeah, that might have been his lowest scoring game of the season.
Yeah.
With 2-0, but it really comes down to the fact that you guys just out hustle pretty much every team that you play against. Last week was obviously a tough week for you guys playing against the undefeated, but you guys just have this complete offense that's coming from everywhere. 4-1, 5-1, 1-1, 1-3, 1-0. Strack seems like he might be back.
Return of the Strack.
Return of the Strack. Jeremy, what did you think of his play last night?
I feel like he plays smart hockey. There's weeks that he plays where he steps up and he's the guy that's getting points, but this week he recognized that you had 5 goals from Bird and you got 4 coming from Fulano. He doesn't need to score. So that's when he started to facilitate and get those passes through a little bit more. 3 assists on a night. It's a huge night for most people in the league. Not really many people are getting those kinds of assists in a night. So, he knows what his team needs him to do, and he kind of tries to step up and do that. Obviously, we kind of gave him this persona. So that you see at the beginning of games, like he comes out and he tries to live up and embody this superstar that we've made him.
He's like Michael Jordan.
But I feel like you can see in the first period he was blank, but in the second and the third he started to realize like, oh no, this is what the team needs me to do. And Stracklemore came out and he did what he needed to do.
Yeah, Strack Black did. He took a lot of shots. Ramsey, he didn't have one of the worst save percentages.
81%.
He blocked a lot. I saw John take a lot of nice shots, and they just didn't manage to go in. But Bob was talking to me last night. He did want me to mention that, to your note, Pete, Jeff Burge was a man unhinged.
He was possessed.
We said
so possessed.
Bob said there was one point where he saw him point at the goal after he shot, and then just turn around and walk away.
I think it was the backhand because one of my favorite things about Zach is when a person's just standing there with their stick and not noticing that Zach is right behind him, and then Zach will just do a stick flip and then throw their stick flying through the air. Well, Jeff is down there, and he's got the puck, and Zach goes to do it. Well, freaking Jeff backhands it into the net, and then all of a sudden the stick goes flying in the air, and Jeff just stands there pointing at the net, pointing 3 times, and Bob just looks at me and goes, did you see that? Like, this nice guy is just being a dick right now, but it was so exciting to see that emotion out of you guys, and it's a testament to why you guys are 4-1 right now.
That's our emotion?
Hey.
That's about...
I guess so.
That's Furlano getting emotional right there.
I think that the nice thing about our team is anybody can play any role at any time, right?
Sure.
We don't have a number one scorer. We don't have a number one defenseman. We all just kind of cycle through it, and we see that. The first game, a lot of shots coming from the outside.
Mhm.
Second and third game, striking Josh Apple was probably the in. Fourth and fifth game, Jeff comes out in this game. He pots in 5 goals, and that's why I kind of take offense to what Bob said last week when he said they had our number and they had some sort of game plan. I don't know if you can have a game plan against us because I don't think we have a game plan. I think we just kind of go out there and kind of feel, what other teams are doing and then adapt to that and see what works.
All right, guys, we're here to play hockey. Go. That's just, that was
it. Kind of comes down to that a lot of times because I think to what Mike's saying, when you don't have your role players, like say a Mike Bryant, who sets the pace of your team.
Everyone's coming up.
We all kind of have to. We just kind of see how it's going. Bob said his game plan was to shut down the 3. Let Jeff and Mike score their goals and shut down the other 3 guys. And I think he might have rolled the dice and got lucky last week because you guys didn't score for whatever. I think they had a great night in goal as well. So
Yeah,
I think that had a lot to do with it as well. Besides just the game plan.
Yeah, it's. I talked about you guys being a boring team to start off the year, but the more I see you play, the more I see you win, the more exciting it gets for me because I don't know how teams play against you. It was one of the reasons that we had just no answer for you because we're just trying to score goals and keep up with you. But that's what it is. You guys are playing well. You're 4-1 right now, sitting in second place. You're looking good for the season. Run DMC has fallen. They're at 1-4, complete opposite of you guys. We'll see if Run DMC can really turn it around, and if we see a loss out of our top seeded team, we could see ATCQ taking over the top spot. So that's the 8:30 matchup. A lot of fun going there. Now let's get into my pick for the most exciting game of the night, the 9:30 game. Jim.
9:30 game, game 4. We have the Pubic Enema finishing with 8 and an OT loss to the Wu-Tang Clan. 9 goals. On the public side, Enright finished with 3 goals, an assist, and a game star. Tim Anderson, 2 goals and an assist. Chris Lally blanks. Matt, not Jeff, Julie, 1 goal, 4 assists, and a game star. Shane H, 2 goals, 0 assists. Bill Rylick, 38 saves, 81% save percentage. The Wu side, Joe Gant, 5 goals, 4 assists, a game star for them. John, 2-0. Kyle A, 1 goal, 0 assists. Bob, 0-1. Steve K, 1 goal, 0 assists. Subbing in net, Ryan Conco, 59 saves, 88% save percentage.
Now, to me, the first thing that we got to look at is Wu-Tang scored 9 goals. Wu-Tang scored 9 goals. Joe had either a goal or an assist on every single one of them. 9 points on 9 goals for the game. Right there, that's your difference.
We're positive he didn't have any assists on his own goals, right?
No, he did. We had a couple on there, but obviously a huge night for Joe. I think an even bigger night, though. You got to talk about Public Enemy. None of us picked them. None of us thought that they had a shot to even be close in this game, and they were able to really turn it around. What was your guys' thoughts on? First off, 1-1 in the first period. So what was your guys' thoughts on how Public Enemy was able to match the undefeated Wu-Tang to be able to put this game into overtime?
Well, the biggest thing I saw off the bench was just our defense was really, really shoddy. If not throughout that whole game, most of that game, we weren't communicating, and that was a big thing that me and Bob were talking about in between the first 2 intermissions. We were saying that we needed to talk way more because that's just kind of a thing that every game we've gone into our first period, we don't talk to each other, and then we have to yell at each other to do it, and then we start talking to each other. But the problem was last night was everybody was talking, not everybody was listening, and it kind of just
a relationship.
Well, I think the crazy part is you're talking about bad defense, but still you only let in 8 goals.
Because of Ryan Conco, Conco really saved us through those first two, especially. Conco, I'm so happy, had a better game than he had his first game.
A lot better.
He stopped so many shots that were going at us, and I mean, he was really the difference maker for me. I'll say, watching those first two periods, he definitely was our last line of defense, and nobody else was really playing the hardest defense that I've seen them be able to play. I mean, obviously, I've played with these guys for 4 weeks now, and our defense was not the best we've had, and Conco definitely stepped up.
Yeah, and here was the thing that I was shocked about. I know that your knee's injured and you've had a great year, but I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Public Enemy is playing against Wu-Tang, who is undefeated. Week 1. They were going up against Sugar Hill Gang and said, no, Conco cannot replace Steve. And then they come into this game and say, yeah, sure, Conco can play in this game. So, Jeremy, we were talking about this last night. I mean, to me, there's a little bit of controversy here, but...
I think it was kind of like, because it was mentioned, like, oh, yeah, who the hell nixes a goalie sub after week 1? I feel like they probably were like, oh, yeah, well, we won't do that again, because people are kind of like, what? Wait, what? Kind of had like that kind of question when they did it the first week. So now, because of like that response to it, they probably were more apt to just like, yeah, whatever, play kind of thing. I also feel like it's kind of a testament to how much this podcast has an effect on teams because Public Enemy came out there with something to prove, and they almost did. I mean, I feel like they proved a lot of us wrong. Where I basically called that game as they were going to get crushed. And that's how it looked. So they kind of had like a chip on their shoulder. They played with it.
Was what you said.
Oh no, I said they were going to get annihilated. Were my exact words.
He actually said that they're going to get murdered. So they're not even. We're going to lose friends that way.
On the flip side, I feel like John, and Bob, some of the guys that have been in the league longer, didn't really come in and underestimating Public Enemy, but some of the newer guys probably came in and thought that it was going to be an easy game for them, which is kind of, can kind of attribute to that lack of D that they're playing early. But Public Enemy came out, they're out for blood, really. I mean, I think for the first period on the 1-1, I said it was my NyQuil game of the week because it was just a boring hockey game, but it picked up and it was a crazy finish to the game.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was the game of the week for sure. I actually had 3 plays of the week coming into this game. It was so fun. Fern Gully was in the defensive end, and Joe is standing right up next to him, and he's coming out of the 3-point line. And Fern Gully deeks through his legs, but passes it a little too far, all the way down to the other end. Fern Gully goes and gets it, passes it to the front of the net, and I can't remember who was there, but sits there and scores to tie the game 1-1.
Tim Anderson, I think.
Yeah, it was such a dirty play, so that was really exciting. I was like, that's my play of the week. I high-fived him. I was like, that's great. And then coming up a little bit later in the second period, Fern Gully is standing in the center of the net, ready for a goal. Beautiful pass to the front of the net. And Conco turns on his backside and just drops the glove for a beautiful save. Did you guys see that?
I saw it, and I don't even know how he got to what Alex was saying before. It was a very acrobatic move. He was not in position for that, but somehow Conco does the Mr. Fantastic thing and gets his body to move in these weird positions.
Now, with that being said, I mean, Conco was at 88% save percentage. I actually gave him a game star. I don't even know if I can give him a game star because he's a substitute.
That's why I didn't.
That's why he's
also
yeah,
why I didn't.
But so he gets an 88 save percentage, so Wu-Tang wins again. I mean, Alex, you had an 87% save percentage last week. I mean, do you win with you in the lineup?
See, that was the thing was, I think the Bob would disagree with me on this, statistically speaking, because he's a very statistical thinker and I'm not. But Bob disagreed with me having Conco brought in as my sub because he thought, basing both of our stats next to each other, he thought that I'm the better goalie. But that was the thing was Conco made a lot of saves last night. I don't know if I would have made those saves, but I mean, you can say what if all game. Sometimes I surprise myself. I mean, I know I've looked at you, Peter. Sometimes when you're reffing games, I'll make a save and not know how I made the save, and I'll be open mouth. How did I do that? So that's what I mean. Like, I can't really even say that I would have made. I can't say I wouldn't have made a difference, and I can't say I would have made a difference. You know what I mean? Conco had a very good game, and that's kind of just what I have to leave it up to and my guys also kind of rallied off that in the third period especially. Definitely, like they like having a strong goaltender behind them. It makes them play better. So
Yeah, I mean, you guys have definitely had a good season. Definitely
we
strong.
are undefeated. Yeah.
Strong third period.
Okay season. Here's
An
two
okay
observations I had, and Bob also agreed with one of these. First of all, I think Conco. One thing that you can't.
Well, lost the microphone.
Mike just went down on me. Not that mic, not Furlano, the actual microphone. Yeah, we haven't sunk that low. We are team.
That's why he's a guest.
Anyway, no, but Conco knows how Chris Enright, Tim Anderson, Chris Lally. He knows what to expect from them. I think he can read them a little bit, and I think that helped him out to a certain extent. But one other thing I thought was really cool and made the game really interesting at the end was Matt. Fern Gully. He is like the master and the commander.
Yeah.
He had the foresight to call the timeout with 5 seconds left, which would have otherwise been a freeze for Wu-Tang, turned it into a face-off.
Yeah.
That's what enabled them to tie up the game with 5 seconds left. I was standing next to Gaffey up there watching. He's like, they can't do anything in 5 seconds. So then I think they do a lot in 5 seconds. And then when it turned out it was actually a face-off, they indeed did, tied it up. Incredible goal by Tim Anderson, which I thought was cool, but it's what he needed to do. And so why don't you talk about that overtime?
Well, to start that off, most of my team incredibly disagreed with the fact that you can call a timeout when we get possession and it is an automatic face-off. A lot of my team disagreed with that because...
Which is to be expected.
Right. But,
in that moment.
I basically just started yelling to their ass because at that point the Wu-Tang bench was, well, that's not fair, this isn't fair, it's our game, blah, blah, blah. I basically told them you need to let that go because it's a goal, there's nothing we can do about it, we have to focus on overtime.
I've never seen Joe so mad.
Everybody,
he was like a Tasmanian
He
devil.
gets mad?
He was shaking and he was
he's
up
the
at
one-
the face
he's
off
the
just.
one- He's the one I had to tell you.
He was talking about Dave Foe?
Yeah, he went all Dave Foes, and he was just shaking, even at the face-off, the puck chop, he was still shaking his head. Just
One
like
strand of his hair went actually down and off.
Well, he did say after, he
and
actually didn't realize there was that much time on the clock. He thought it was at 0.
He thought it was at 3 seconds as opposed to a 5 seconds, which would have made the difference.
Jeremy was, we were all staring at the clock very intensely, and that was, there was a couple times in games earlier in the season where it's all about the timely timeout. That's the rule in this league, but does it need to be changed?
I think it definitely needs to be changed.
I agree.
If you have a freeze, you have the puck, there's no reason to get a face-off. You just,
Because they have an extra point now. They have an extra point because they called a timely timeout.
What's the rationale for having
Well, they used the
face-off
rule
opposed
that
to-
as it existed to their advantage, which is a good
Oh, yeah, I can't
strategic
hold them
move.
against that.
But,
Brilliant.
I don't know. You guys, how does that work in...
The NHL?
Yeah.
Really
We're kind of doing NFL rules.
It's on a stoppage of play. That's really the only time that you can do it in the NHL. But
Which in the NHL technically would be a goalie freeze. So
yeah, there would have been a face-off. So I guess that's the reason why. And I think that you were about to ask that is what's the rationale behind being a face-off versus whoever has possession of the puck. But maybe that's something to look into. We can't look at this game. Obviously, we got to move on because of time. But we do have to talk about the overtime game. Beautiful comeback. Literally, we're talking about 5 seconds left. It is 8-7. Public Enemy calls the timeout. Beautiful timeout by Fern Gully. Get the face-off win. Pull the goaltender. Shoot it down. Happens to rebound. Tim Anderson puts it in right when the clock hits 0. So we're going into overtime. You're looking at Joe and John on the floor. So obviously they have the upper hand. I didn't think it was a great idea for
Tim Anderson.
Yeah, Chris and Tim Anderson not to be on the floor together, but it looked like Tim Anderson was gassed. And Joe does what he does best. When you're looking at an open floor, it was easy. It was going to be a Wu-Tang win unless something fluke happened. Joe gets an easy shot, puts it top shelf, gets the win. Wu-Tang is 5-0. Ultimately, I think Public Enemy had a great game. I had the same game stars that you did, except for putting Conco in there. Wu-Tang is a team to be messed with right now. Public Enemy, I think, is on the surge. So any other final thoughts on this game?
I love the Wu-Tang Clan.
And there you go, the captain and goaltender loving the Wu-Tang Clan. Now, we're going to get to the question. Let's get into the week 5 stars.
Stars of the week.
Stars of the week.
Mike Bryant,
Mike Bryant.
Paul Paradine, Joe Gant.
In agreement.
It's unanimous.
Any other chains there, guys? Anyone else have
I'm going to
any?
give an honorable mention to Brett. I thought Brett played pretty good.
I agree with
the,
that.
the guys that did get the stars played phenomenal as well.
There's Furlano getting emotional, man. Brett played pretty good.
Yeah, that's serious right there. That's a lot of love. All right, so as we do in every podcast, we get to the question. Now, obviously, the Masters started today. Now, not talking about any golf ability. I don't know how. Do we have a lot of golfers in this league? Any golfers around the table?
Probably not here.
I play a lot of golf. I had probably taken enough strokes for all of you, so we're good.
Are we talking about like golfers? So, not talking about physical golf ability. One of our players won the Masters last year, and they get to pick. And I don't know if you guys know this, but they get to pick the whole meal for the Masters dinner for the day prior to the Masters opening up. So they get to pick the appetizer, the entree, and dessert. So who do you think would pick the best meal? And it can be based on your personal opinion.
So which player of the league do we have to say what they're planning as well? Like what the meal is? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody? Any takers first?
I might go first on this
Is
one. I think
this your question?
Yeah, this is my question.
Wow.
I think just based off of right now, I'd have to say Kurt, because Kurt has set us up with a beautiful palette of little breads. Got some pepperoni that's got a little bit of ghost pepper in it, which I wasn't expecting, but it felt nice, and some different cheeses that I don't even know the name of this cheese, but it looks so beautiful, and he's hooking us up with the beer. It's a very venti type situation going on right now.
It's a nice little
venti.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a word on the fly,
No,
so
venti
I'd
works.
have to go with Kurt, because Kurt's setting us up real nice in here.
Well, Kurt, since you were just put up there for a delicious dinner,
Oh,
who do you
gosh.
guys pick?
Oh my gosh. And
you can't pick Steve Newberry because this guy,
yeah,
he may be more versatile than Gaffey.
I know Gaffey knows his way around the kitchen. Steve Newberry gets paid to know his way around the kitchen. This is a tough one, man. I don't know. Steve Kazmark, he manages one of the top burger joints that I love to eat at. We have a lot of good guys that know their foodie stuff.
Tom Walt.
Yeah, it's a good joint. Have you had one down there? It's awesome.
Yeah, they're plate burgers.
Yeah, the manager makes a huge difference, and that's Steve. So I'm gonna have
Who had
to
a
go.
new haircut last night, didn't he?
He did. He moved.
That's true.
Yeah, he was. I think all this hair talk is starting to get to the guys. I don't know if he had
Listening
any
to the
product in it,
podcast.
but he definitely had
Listening
the
to the
hair. He
podcast.
was shorn. I might, Pete. I gotta say, I might have to go with you. I feel like you are a man of culture, and I feel like when it comes to a golf tournament, we're not going to be able to just, get takeout from Schmegs. I feel like it's going to have to go a little next level, although that would be incredibly awesome.
Are you
It's
trying to get
probably going to be PB&J. I mean, that's...
Are we
Really?
Are we shooting
All
for a
right.
Schmeg sponsorship?
I'm apparently cultured. Well, I appreciate your pick there, Kurt.
This question caught me off guard.
Yeah, well, questions always catch you off guard because you guys
Yeah,
don't
I
know
said the
anything.
word eventi.
So my pick when I was going through, and I didn't think about the answer ahead of time. I'm actually going to go with my goaltender, Kenton Sawade, because he's got Sawade. I think this guy knows food. It got to a point last season where, he got so hot in the gym that he just couldn't play anymore. And I just think this guy loves food, and I really just want to eat the food that he likes.
To do with it?
Yeah, that's where I'm going with.
By the way, I just got one of those ghost pepper sausages. Holy Christ.
Yeah.
Jim, what about
Sneaks up
you?
on ya.
See, my gut is telling me Gaffey, but I think I'm gonna go with Andy Gobbin.
Whoa.
I feel like he's always posting about the different craft beers and things like that, and different restaurants that he's eating at and things like that. I feel like he would do a good job with the menu.
Well, I think it's perfect to actually finish on the international correspondent, Mike Verlano.
Well, I'm gonna have to go for some back home food. I'm gonna go with Paul Paradine.
Oh, nice.
What is he making first off?
A little female bacon in the morning. You guys call it Canadian bacon. And then he's gonna, merge the dinner and dessert, just poutine. Poutine all day. And Bob, if you're listening, there's an all-you-can-eat poutine place in Toronto, just in the Bloor Annex area. It's phenomenal.
And he is. I think he is listening live to this podcast. That's not live. So, so that's it. Well, once again, we want to thank everyone. This has been the Week 5 Circle of Jerks recap. This is Pete R. with Raging Bonet, Cannonball Kurt, international correspondent Mike Verlano, and Packard Automotive. Once again, everyone, is it Wednesday yet?